So basically today we will discuss about immunity. We will start the new chapter, which is immunity. So before starting, you must know that the overview of the whole chapter, right? So before starting immunity, you must know that what is basically health, right? What is health, right? Any guesses at what is health, right? So basically health, according to WHO, World Health Organization, according to WHO, World Health Organization, health is nothing but just the state of your mind and body, right? State of mind and body. Health is nothing but a state of mind and body, right? So now basically what makes your health, right? What makes a person healthy? So basically there are four fluids in our body. There are four fluids in our body which make our body healthy. Like if they are balanced properly, then the body is said to be health, like the body is said to be healthy, right? So now first is blood, right? There should be proper balancing of the blood. Like what is the average blood, you can say rate, or you can say average capacity of blood, which is 5.5 million, right? Oh sorry, 5.5 liters, right? Which is the average, you can say normal rate, blood rate, or you can say normal, how much liters a healthy body have blood. So that is 5.5 liters. So first is blood. Second we have is bile, basically yellow bile. Basically it is a bile which is produced by livers, like in the salt for the emulsification of the fats and all that. The bile, the yellow bile, right, which is produced by the liver. So the amount of that bile must be regulated in our body. Then number third, which is basically the black bile. Now what is basically black bile? Let me write over here. Black bile. Now what is black bile? Basically it is a bile which is produced when there is a breakdown of erythrocytes. Now what are erythrocytes? Erythrocytes are basically RBCs. When there's abnormal breakdown of RBC, like before the 120 days, the fluid produced is known as black bile. Okay, so the amount of black bile must be regulated in our body, right? So number fourth is mucus, right? Number fourth is mucus. Now what is mucus? Mucus is basically a secretion, you can say phlegm, or you can basically say sputum. You can say here phlegm, right? If the quantity of phlegm or mucus increases in your body, what happens? There will be a chest congestion, right? These are some consequences if the fluid increase, if the mucus increases. So these are basically four fluids that must be regulated in our body in order to keep our body healthy, right? So if the, let me write over here, that if the amount of these fluids increase or decrease, there will be some consequences, right? According to these fluids, the state of your body is determined, right? Now what are the characteristics of a healthy body, right? So basically a healthy body must be physically fit, right? It must be physically fit. Second, it must be mentally fit. And third is socially fit. Now what does it mean? Basically physically fit means a person who is not obese or is not malnutrited, right? A person is healthy. His or her weight is according to her or his BMI, right? We know that BMI greater than 25 is known as obesity. Okay, that's towards obesity. So your weight must be according to your BMI, right? Body mass index. Now this is known as physical fitness. Now what is mentally fitness? It means you are alert, you are in the state of your mind, you know what is happening with you. These are all the consequences of the mentally fit person. Then we have socially fit. Okay, basically socially fit in a way that you interact with all of the species, all of the people of your own species, right? You talk with all the people around you, you talk with all the surrounding, you are a well adjusted person, right? That means a socially fit. But in these three components, physically fit is the most important. Now why it is the most important one? This physically fit, why? Because for example, mentally fitness, like some there are some days when we are down, there are some days when we are stressed, when there are some days when we are in tension, right? If you are a student, you have tension of what? To clear exams, to get highest marks. This is a tension. So in this state, you can't say that the body, or you can say the person is not healthy, right? The person is healthy, right? Okay, then talk about socially fit. Okay, nowadays, like how our surrounding is, our parents teach us not to talk to any stranger, right? We are not allowed to talk to any stranger, we are not allowed to take things from them. So what is this? This is socially fit. This does not come under socially fit. If we don't talk to any stranger, it doesn't mean that we are socially unfit. It means that we are taking precautions, right? Prevention is better than cure, right? This is what. So here, physically fit is the most important component of a healthy person, right? Now what is basically disease, right? Now what is disease? Disease means improper functioning. Means improper functioning. Disease means improper functioning, right? There can be signs, there will be some symptoms. Disease means something infectious. It can be infection too, right? Now how you will recognize a disease, like recognition of a disease, right? Recognition of disease, right? Now you can determine a disease by its duration, right? By its duration. Disease can be of two durations. First is acute, and second is chronic, right? Basically in acute, the disease is for shorter period of time. It's for shorter period of time, right? But there will be much more immense symptoms, right? The symptoms will be very immense, but immense symptoms, right? There will be any immense symptoms, but the disease will be for the shorter period of time. For example, you can say fever. Fever is basically a symptom, right? Whenever okay, I'll think about it and tell you. Now we have chronic disease. Chronic disease means that a disease is prolonged disease, right? But here the symptoms will be very low, with low symptoms, right? The symptoms will not be low. For example, we have TB, tuberculosis, which is caused by Mycobacterium tuberculosis, right? This is a bacteria which causes, this is a pathogen which causes TB, right? It actually lasts for 9 months, right? This TB. what happens? Basically, there's a cough, but there's a quite low cough, like not that high high immensive cough is there, right? This is quite low. So it means this is chronic, like it is prolonged. It at least lasts for 9 months, right? But the symptoms are very low. So this is known as chronic disease, which is TB, right? Now we have another type, which is the disease is congenital or non-congenital. Okay, let me write over here. Congenital or non-congenital, right? Now, congenital basically means genetic. You have inherited that your disease in your gene, right? Gene that is inherited. Basically, this inherited. Okay, it is inherited. For example, in many families, I have seen that heart disease is inherited. The person dies, all the ancestors and their offspring die with the same disease, that is heart. So, heart disease is basically congenital, right? Sometimes cancer too, like breast cancer, uterus cancer, these are also congenital, right? When talk about non-congenital, for example, even the hepatitis and AIDS, sometimes they are also congenital, right? If we talk about non-congenital, means these are not genetic, right? It can be diarrhea. Diarrhea is not congenital, right? It can be constipation. It can be fever is not a disease, basically it's a symptom, right? It can be what else? It can be cholera, right? Now, when we talk about communicable and non-communicable, a disease which can be communicable, which can be spread, and it is non-communicable, right? Communicable means this disease can be spread by touching or using the utensils, or using like sitting with the infected person, or using his or her utensils, or talking with him. It can be spread. That is known as communicable diseases. So it can be communicable diseases can be it can be flu, influenza, right? Flu, influenza, right? Non-communicable means it can't be spread by sitting together, talking together, using each other's utensils, right? It can be diabetes. It can be many diseases. It can be measles. It can be mumps. Okay, these are non-communicable diseases. Now let's talk about treatment, right? Treatment is basically talk about treatment. Basically, there's treatment of symptoms and treatment of disease. Treatment of symptoms of disease and treatment of symptoms, right? There are two types of treatment of disease and treatment of symptoms. For example, if you have migraine, so you have a headache, so that's the symptom. So there's certain treatment for symptom and certain treatment for disease. I hope this is clear to you. If you have any kind of queries, you can ask me in the comment section, and I'll be very glad to answer you guys.